In this class, we are going to discuss about the nuclear chemistry, otherwise radioactivity. Now, this is a very important topic regarding the advanced level syllabus. Okay. Now, what is the nuclear chemistry? It is a branch of physical chemistry that deals with the nucleus of an atom as well as the changes related with the nucleus of an atom. Okay. Now, in nuclear chemistry, we have to deal with the nuclear reactions which are different from the normal reactions. Now, what is the basic difference between the normal reaction and a nuclear reaction? In normal reaction, what happens? Atoms and charges must be balanced on the both side of the reaction. Okay, and in normal reaction, the electron that is present in the extra nuclear part will take part in the chemical reaction. Okay, now but whereas in the nuclear reaction, the nucleus of atom will take part in the reaction. That means the nucleus composition will changes. The nucleus composition will be changes. Are you getting my point? That's why we have to consider the atomic number as well as the mass number on both sides in the nuclear reactions. So we have to balance the atomic number as well as mass number on the both hand sides. Okay, now the general representation of a nucleus. Now here X will be the symbol of the element, that is the nucleus, where A is the mass number and where Z is the atomic number. Okay, now in normal reactions we have to see the balancing of atoms as well as charges on the both sides. If you see dinitrogen combined with dihydrogen to give ammonia, on both sides if you see nitrogen atoms are balanced and hydrogen atoms are also balanced, and also charges. Okay, but whereas in case of a nuclear reaction, we have to balance the atomic number and mass number on both sides. Let's suppose one example, we have beryllium treated with alpha particle to form a nucleus of carbon and one particle that is called neutron. Okay, now here what happens, on the left side, on the right side, we have to check the atomic number. Sum of the atomic number on the left side should be equal to the sum of the atomic number on the right hand side. Are you getting my point? Similarly, sum of the mass number on the left hand side will be equal to the sum of the mass number on the right hand side. Now here on the left hand side, beryllium. Now in case of atomic number, if you see Z, atomic number of beryllium 4 and alpha particle, that is the helium nucleus, atomic number will be 2. So 4 plus 2. On the right hand side, carbon will be 6 and neutron chargeless, that's why 0 I am taking. So on both sides if you see, atomic numbers are balanced. And similarly if you compare the mass number, on the right side beryllium mass number will be 4 and helium alpha particle 4. Beryllium atomic mass number will be 9 and helium will be 4, that is 9 plus 4 13. On the right side carbon will be 12 and neutron 1, so that 13 will be equal to what? 13. That means we have to remember on LHS and RHS atomic number should be balanced as well as mass number should be balanced. Okay, now what is the definition of a radioactivity? It is the spontaneous emission of radiation from a radioactive substance. What is the radiation here? Alpha particle, beta particle and gamma radiation. Gamma radiation. This is electromagnetic radiation. Are you getting my point? The emission of alpha, beta, gamma radiation. Okay, alpha particle, beta particle and gamma radiation from a radioactive element is known as radioactivity. Okay, the substance which emits alpha, beta, gamma radiation is called radioactive element, and this phenomena is known as a radioactivity. Now there are two types of radioactivities. Number one, natural radioactivity. Number two, artificial radioactivity. Now in the natural radioactivity, what happens? The substance is itself emit the radiation. The substance is itself emits the radiation of alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, radiation. But whereas in artificial radioactivity, the substance does not emit the radiation by itself, but on falling radiation from any natural radioactive substance on it, then it starts emitting the radiation. That means initially it do not emit any radiation, okay, but any natural occurring radioactive substance, if emits radiation which falls on it, then it starts emitting the radiation. It starts emitting the radiation. Are you getting my point? Now here the difference between the alpha, beta and gamma, alpha, beta particle and gamma radiation, what are the basic differences here? First difference, if you see mass, do you know the mass of alpha particle will be 4 AMU, atomic mass units. We know 1 AMU 1.66 or 67 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilograms. Okay, now what is the mass of the beta particle? The mass of a beta particle similar to the mass of the electron, that is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kilograms. Now come to the gamma radiation, there is no any mass, massless, even chargeless. Okay, now come to the second parameter, property, charge. So do you know alpha particles having 2 units of positive charge, whereas beta particle having 1 unit negative charge. Gamma radiation has no charge, that is the neutral. And third one is the how to symbolize these particles and radiation. Now we know alpha particle nothing but the helium nucleus, dipositive helium nucleus, so helium 2 4. Now what about the representation of electron? E minus 1 0, minus 1 corresponding to charge and 0 corresponding to almost negligible mass. Are you getting my point? And gamma radiation symbolized by symbol gamma or h nu, nothing but this is the electromagnetic radiation, gamma radiation. Okay, now what will be the speed of these alpha particle, beta particle and gamma radiation? So this will be 1/10 of the speed of the light, this will be nearly equal to the speed of the light, and this is exactly equal to the speed of the light. What is the speed of the light? That will be 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. This is the velocity, speed of the light. Okay, and the next one more property, penetration power. The minimum penetration power alpha particle and beta particle will be intermediate, whereas gamma particle has maximum penetrating power. Are you getting my point? Now the ionization power maximum in case of alpha particles and intermediate in case of beta particle and minimum in case of gamma radiation. Okay, now the nature, now the alpha particles nature, beta is also particle nature. Just now I told you gamma is a radiation, electromagnetic radiation. Now the kinetic energy, if you see the helium particle, that is alpha particle, has large kinetic energy, whereas beta particle has small kinetic energy. There will be no kinetic energy regarding the gamma radiation. Now there is a small difference between the beta particle and electron. The difference, what is the similarity and dissimilarity between beta particle and electron? The beta particle has the same mass, same charge as respect to the electron. Are you getting my point? Beta particle has the same mass and charge as electron. It differs from the electron in its origin. Okay, a beta particle is emitted from the nucleus. Remember, beta particle is emitted from the nucleus of an atom, whereas the electron occupies the region outside the nucleus of atom. That means electron is present outside the nucleus of atom, but whereas the beta particle is emitted from the nucleus of atom. This is the difference between the beta particle and electron, but the similarity will be both have same mass as well as charge. Are you getting my point? Now come to the, here there is a radioactive substance. It is present in the lead block. There is a small cavity is there. Through the help of small cavity, alpha, beta, gamma radiation emitted from the radioactive substance. Okay, now this is a electrical plate, positive plate and negative, positive charge is there and negative charge is there. Now we know, just now I explained the properties of alpha, beta, gamma radiation. Okay, alpha particles being a positive charge, they attracted towards the negatively charged plate, whereas the beta particle, they are being a negative charge, they attract towards the positively charged plate. Okay, now whatever the gamma radiation, it is neither positive charge nor negative charge. That means this is neutral. That's why it could not penetrate to any one direction of the electrical plate, and it is moving in the straight line in the electrical field. In the electrical field. Okay. Now, what is the cause of radioactivity? Why substances emit alpha, beta, gamma radiation? What is the reason behind the emission of radiation of alpha, beta, gamma radiation by the radioactive substance? Now, in generally, if you see the atomic number up to 20, if you see except to hydrogen, remaining all elements will have neutrons as well as protons. Okay, now the n by p ratio, that is the neutron divided by proton ratio, is almost equal up to 1 to 20 elements except to hydrogen where there will be no neutron. Okay, now if you see as the atomic number increases from 20 onwards, what happens? Number of neutrons increases more as compared to the number of protons, due to which the n by p ratio, that is the neutron to the proton ratio, increases. When the neutron to proton ratio increases, the nuclei become unstable. When the nuclei become unstable, to get the stability, what happens? That element, that nuclei will emit alpha, beta, gamma radiation. Such phenomena is known as radioactivity, and that element is known as a radioactive element. Yes or no? Now here, the ratio between the number of neutrons to protons, if you observe, it will be 1 to 1.6. That nuclei are stable nuclei. If the n by p ratio will be less than 1, otherwise greater than 1.6, okay, then that nuclei are considered to be what? Unstable. In order to become the stability, they must emit the radiation and show radioactivity. Now here there is a graph plotted between the number of neutrons on the y-axis versus number of proton on the x-axis. Now if you see the straight line which is equal, that is nothing but y is equal to mx. So in this, what happens? Neutron to proton ratio will be equal to 1. Okay, now this is the zone, this is the belt where there will be a stable nuclei, zone of the stability, if the ratio between the number of protons to number of neutrons to proton will be in between 1 to 1.6. If the ratio greater than 1.6, that zone will be unstable zone. If the ratio will be less than 1, and also the zone will be unstable. Are you getting my point? Now here, first case, when the neutron proton ratio is high, then what happens? When the neutron to proton ratio will be high, so the nucleus try to reduce the neutron to proton ratio. How the neutron to proton ratio was reduced? By the emission of the beta particle. By the emission of what? Beta particle, otherwise neutron. Remember, whenever n by p ratio is very high, then nucleus, what happens? It emits which particle? Beta particle. Which particle? Beta particle. Now here if you see, neutron when converted into proton, it emits which particle? Beta particle. And nu bar, this nu bar is called antineutrino, which is chargeless, massless particle. Antineutrino is a chargeless, massless particle. Now here what happens? One neutron is converted into one proton. That means in n by p ratio, initially n by p ratio is very high. Okay, now to reduce this n by p ratio, we have to decrease the numerator and we have to increase the denominator. Yes or no? So the overall value, what happens? Decreases. So that's why the neutron number decreases and compared to proton number. Are you getting my point? By loss of beta particle. Let's suppose we have best example carbon 614. It is converted into nitrogen 714 by loss of one beta particle. Whenever beta particle will emission, definitely one atomic number increases. Atomic number 1 unit increases because one proton is forming. Okay, now that's why here 6 atomic number, here 7 atomic number. Here n by p ratio will be neutrons. How many neutrons will be present in this carbon 14 6? Do you know number of neutrons? How to find? Number of neutrons is equal to mass number mass number minus atomic number, that will be the 6 neutrons, and 14 minus 6, 8 neutrons, and protons will be 6. 8 by 6 value here 1.33. Here number of neutrons will be 7, protons will be 7, so 7 by 7 1. So here initially n by p ratio 1.33. Now final n by p ratio what? 1. That means n by p ratio to decrease. What happens? The element should emit which particle? Beta particle. Are you getting my point? Now come to second case. If the n by p ratio is very low, when the n by p ratio is low, then what happens? To increase the n by p ratio, there are three options, three possibilities. Number one, alpha particle emission. Number two, positron emission. Number three, k electron capture. Are you getting my point? Now here what happens? To increase the n by p ratio, initially n by p ratio is low. So to increase the n by p ratio, what happens? Number of neutrons should be increased as compared to proton. That means one proton should convert into neutron. If the number of proton decreases and number of neutron increases, then overall n by p ratio what happens? Increases. So in this situation what happens? One proton in the nucleus will converted into one neutron by loss of positron. By loss of what? Positron. What is positron? It is similar to electron but positively charged. It is similar to electron but having one unit what? Positive charge. Electron, positron both have opposite charges. Are you getting my point? Now here, best example, sodium 1123 gives neon 1023 by the emission of positron. So here before emission of positron, n by p ratio 1.09. After emission of positron 1.3. That means n by p ratio increases. And in first case I told you alpha particle emission. In case of phosphorus 1531, it will give aluminum 1327, and by loss of one alpha particle, that is the helium 24. So initially you have 1.06 n by p ratio, and after loss of alpha particle you will get 1.07. That means n by p ratio increases. How to increase the n by p ratio? Number one, by the emission of alpha particle. Number two, by the emission of positron. Okay, what is the positron? It is a positively charged electron. And the third one will be the k electron capture. Now what is the meaning of a k electron capture? Okay, let's suppose I am telling one example, sodium 1123. Now here electron E minus 1 0, so you will get neon 1023. On the left hand side n by p ratio, that will be 1.09. On the right hand side 1.3. That means n by p ratio increases by electron capture, k electron capture. What is the meaning of a k electron capture? K electron capture is an unusual process which is shown by those elements which do not have sufficient energy for positron emission. So those elements which do not have sufficient energy to emission of positron, in that cases, that elements what they do, they capture the electron from the K shell. Okay, let's suppose this is the first shell, this will be second shell, this will be third shell. First shell will be what? K shell. From the K shell, electron will be abstracted by whom? Nucleus. Okay. Now to compensate this electron which is coming from the K shell to nucleus, to compensate this, the loss of one electron from the K shell, to compensate the loss of one electron in the K shell, what happens? One electron jumps from the higher energy level to the K shell. That means let's suppose from the third shell or second shell, one electron is jumping to K shell. Why? From the K shell, one electron is captured by the nucleus. That's why that is to be compensated by the electron of outer shells. Are you getting my point? This will be in the form of X-ray emission. This radiation will be in the form of X-ray emission. That means, so electron capture is always X-ray emission. Are you getting my point? Now there are three possibilities to increase the n by p ratio. Number one, positron emission. Number two, alpha particle emission. Number three, k electron capture. Okay. Now what are the changes occurring during the alpha, beta, gamma radiation emission of alpha, beta, gamma radiation. Are you getting? Gamma is a radiation. It gamma is corresponding to radiation, whereas particle nature corresponding to alpha and beta. Okay. Now let's suppose we have a nucleus X, mass number A, atomic number Z. Okay. Now let's suppose if it loses one alpha particle. How many alpha particle? One alpha particle. What is the atomic number? 2 units, and mass number 4 units. So the newly formed element has 2 units, has the atomic number 2 units less and mass number having 4 units less as compared to the parent. This is the parent element. This is the daughter element. This will be what? Daughter element. The daughter element always having 2 units atomic number less and 4 units mass number less when parent element loses one alpha particle. Are you getting my point? Now come to beta particle. In case of a beta particle, what happens? During the beta particle emission, atomic number remains same. Atomic number remains same, but atomic mass will be remains same. Atomic mass remains same, but atomic number increases by 1 unit. This is very important. Are you getting my point? Now let's suppose we have atomic number Z and mass number A corresponding to a element X. Okay. Now what happens? What is the beta particle? Nothing but electron. Indirectly nothing but what? Electron. So here atomic number on the left side Z. So right side Z plus 1 minus 1. So overall atomic number will be Z. Mass number there will be no change. So what happens? Atomic number increases by 1 unit, but there will be no change in the mass number. Are you getting my point? Now gamma radiation, not particle, gamma radiation emission. During the emission of gamma radiation, no change in the atomic number as well as mass number. Are you getting my point? Now the group displacement law, this is very important. Let's suppose I have a parent element whose group number will be G, let's suppose in the periodic table. Okay. Let's suppose if the parent element loses one alpha particle. Just now I told you, when any radioactive element loses one alpha particle, its atomic number decreases by 2 units. So if the group number of the parent element will be G, then whatever the group number of the daughter element, that will be the G minus 2, because 2 units atomic number decreases. Are you getting my point? 2 units atomic number decreases. But whereas if the parent element emits one beta particle, when the parent element emits one beta particle, so there will be 1 unit increase in the atomic number. So the newly formed daughter element group number becomes G plus 1. Group number becomes G plus 1. So this is not valid for the lanthanides and actinides. Are you getting my point? Lanthanides and actinides. Okay. Now here, let's suppose parent element X, daughter element is Y. Parent element atomic number Z, mass number Y, daughter element atomic number Z dash and mass number A dash. Let's suppose X alpha particles are emitting and Y beta particles are emitting. Now what we are applying here, sum of the atomic numbers on the both sides must be equal and sum of the mass numbers must be equal on the both sides. From the first one, we are equating the atomic number on the both sides. On the left side atomic number Z, on the right side Z dash. Now here the atomic number 2 into X, 2X, here Y into minus 1, that will be minus 1, equation 1. Okay. Now here mass number on the left hand side will be A, on the right side will be A dash, 4 into X, 4X, Y into 0, that will be 0. So you have two equations. Are you getting my point? With the help of these two equations, we can find the X value, Y value, because X and Y unknown. X and Y unknown. Two unknowns and two linear equations we have. So we can solve these two equations and we can find the number of alpha particle. How to find the number of alpha particles here? from the equation number 2. What is the x here? Alpha particle. X is equal to, shall write a minus a dash by 4. So this is nothing but number of alpha particle. How to calculate the number of alpha particle? Change in the mass number divided by 4. Change in the mass number divided by what? 4. Are you getting my point? Similarly, how to find the number of beta particles? Number of beta particles, that is nothing but y. Number of beta particles, that is nothing but y. So y equal to, shall write here 2x minus of 2x minus of y is equal to 2x. Just wait. What I am writing here, I have to find the number of beta particles. Number of beta particles nothing but y. Okay, so y equal to 2x plus z dash minus z. Otherwise y is equal to, I am writing 2x minus of z minus z dash. What is the y? Beta particle. 2 times of alpha particle minus of z minus z dash, nothing but change in atomic number. Change in atomic number. Remember, change in atomic number means initial minus final. Initial minus final. So change in atomic number. Are you getting my point? Here I am taking the minus common. Here I am not taking the minus common. But in the second case here you see 2 into number of alpha particles minus of change in the atomic number. So z minus z dash. This is equal to number of what? Beta particles. Number of what? Beta particles. This is very important. So this will be given in the integer type question. Calculate the number of alpha particles, beta particles. Okay. Now we have some questions here. Calculate the number of alpha and beta particles emitted in the following transformation. Uranium 92 238 gives lead 82 206. Now here in this, first of all we can find directly by using the formula. What is the direct formula we can apply? Number of alpha particles. How to find the number of alpha particle? Change in mass number, initial mass minus final mass divided by 4. Are you getting my point? So you will get 32. You will get 32 divided by what? 4. Are you getting my point? 238 minus 206, 32 divided by 4. So you will get 8. Alpha particle number will be 8. Now how to find the number of beta particles? How to find the number of beta particles? To calculate the number of beta particles, 2 into number of alpha particles minus of change in atomic number. Change in atomic number. Okay. Now here 2 into how many alpha particles? 8. Minus of change in atomic number, initial 92, final 82. So 92 minus 82. So you will get 16 minus 10, that will be equal to 6. So finally the answer will be 8 alpha particles and 6 beta particles. 8 alpha particles and 6 beta particles. Are you getting my point? Now one more question. If you see in the second question, number of alpha particles, change in the mass number 235 minus 207 divided by 4. Are you getting my point? That will be 28 by 4. That will be 7 alpha particle. Now come to beta particle. Beta particle will be equal to 2 into number of alpha particles minus of change in the atomic number. That will be 92 minus 82. 14 minus 10. That will be equal to 4. So final answer will be 7 alpha particle and 4 beta particle. Are you getting my point? Similarly, if you see the question number 3, Neptunium 93 237, bismuth 83 209. If you simplify, you will get the answer 7 alpha particles and 4 beta particles. And the fourth question, thorium 92 232, lead 82 208. In this question, you will get the 6 alpha particles and 4 beta particles. And the fifth question, if you see, this will be the question number 5. Okay. Now here X element is there, atomic number 98 and mass number 238. Loss of 1 alpha give Y, loss of beta give Z, loss of 1 more beta give L, and loss of n alpha particle to give M, 90 to 18. Find the value of n. Now here you can first of all write the general given equation X 98 to 38. This is the parent nuclei. What is the daughter nuclei? M 90 to 18. How many alpha particles will be lost here? Alpha particle 1 here alpha particle n. Total n plus 1 alpha particle. Alpha particle nothing but helium 2, 4. How many beta particles here? 1 plus 1, 2 beta particle. Beta particle nothing but electron E minus 1, 0. Okay, are you getting my point? Whether if you compare the atomic number or mass number, you can find the n value. Let's suppose I am taking the atomic number on the both sides. Now I am equating the atomic number on the both sides. On the left side atomic number will be 98. On the right hand side 90 plus 2 into n plus 1 minus 2. Are you getting my point? So from here 98 you will get 90 minus 2, that will be 88. Okay, 98 equal to 90 minus 2, that will be 88 plus 2 into n plus 1. Okay, now here 88 will be equal to 2 times of the n plus 1. N plus 98 minus 88, you will get here 10. Okay, you will get here what? 10. So 10 equal to 2 into n plus 1. So n plus 1 is equal to 5. N is equal to answer 4. Otherwise you can take the mass number on both sides. Mass number on the left hand side 238, on the right side 218, on the right side 218 plus 4 into n plus 1. Here 2 into 0, 0. So here you will get 20 will be equal to 4 into 1 plus n. So 1 plus n is equal to 5, n is equal to 4. What is the n value here? 4. Are you getting my point? Next, one more question is there here. Uranium 92 238 disintegrate to give how many alpha particle? 4 alpha particle. How many beta particles? 6 beta particles. Then find the atomic number, mass number of the end product. Now here in the previous question the final product is given, so we have to find we find the alpha and beta particle. Now in this question alpha beta particle number is given, find the daughter element atomic number and mass number. Okay, now let's suppose consider general equation. I am taking uranium 92 238 which is giving, let's suppose element X, atomic number Z, mass number A. How many alpha particles are emitted? 4. Alpha particle means helium 24. 4 into helium 24 plus how many beta particles? 6. Beta particle nothing but electron. 6 into E minus 1, 0. Are you getting my point? Now you can equate the atomic number as well as mass number. That is the one concept. Otherwise you can directly use the formula. Okay, now what will be the atomic number on the left hand side? 92. On the right hand side Z plus 8 minus 6. So finally atomic number will be equal to 90. Are you getting my point? Now come to mass number on the both sides, 238 which is equal to A plus 16. So A is equal to 222. Okay, what is the element here? X atomic number 90 and mass number will be 222. Are you getting my point? So atomic number 90 nothing but the thorium. Atomic number 90 nothing but what? Thorium. Are you getting my point? Now the next question, next one, radioactive disintegration series. Radioactive disintegration series. If parent element is unstable, okay, and the radioactive, then it will emits what? Radiation, that is alpha particles, beta particles, okay, and form a new element, new daughter element. Okay, if it is also radioactive, then further what happens? The daughter element is also further emitting the radiation, and continuously still the end product which is formed as a stable product. Okay, and also non-reactive element. This phenomena is a radioactive disintegration. In this radioactive disintegration, whatever the elements are formed put together known as a radioactive disintegration series. Radioactive disintegration series. Okay. Now series of elements obtained from unstable radioactive element to stable non-radioactive element. Unstable radioactive element to stable non-radioactive element is referred as a radioactive disintegration series. Okay. Now it was observed that there are 4 different types of radioactive disintegration series. How many types? 4 series. Okay. Number 1, thorium series. Number 2, neptunium series. Number 3, uranium series. Number 4, actinium series. Thorium series is known as a 4n series. Neptunium series 4n plus 1 series. Uranium series 4n plus 2, and actinium series is called 4n plus 3. Okay. The starting and last element in the thorium series, the first element will be thorium, which on radioactive disintegration by loss of 6 alpha particles and 4 beta particles, it will give you a stable non-radioactive element, that is the lead 82208. And the neptunium 4n plus 1, initially neptunium, final element stable bismuth by loss of 7 alpha 4 beta particles. Uranium starting element uranium 92-238, and finally it will give lead 82206 stable isotope. Okay, and having the emission of 8 alpha 6 beta particles. And actinium starting element, that is the 89 atomic number, mass number 227, and final stable isotope lead 82207 by loss of 5 alpha and 3 beta particles. Are you getting my point? Now here you see here why we are giving the 4n plus 1, 4n plus 2 and 4n plus 3 number. Okay. Now if you see first series, thorium series. In the thorium series, now what is the first series here? Thorium series. Okay. In the first series, that is the thorium series, what is the first element will there? Thorium 90 and 232. And what is the final element here? Lead 82208. Lead 82208. Now if you see 232 mass number, if it is divided by 4, you will get 4 5s are 20 and the remainder 32. So 4 8s are 32. That means you have remainder 0 finally. If the remainder is 0, then this is called 4n plus 0. 4n plus 0 nothing but indirectly 4n series. Even if you see the last element, that is the lead atomic mass 208 divided by 4. 4 5s are 20 here. Remainder 8, again 4 2s are 8, 8 minus 8 0. So that means the first series, if you see the mass number of the any of the element in the first series from the starting to last, if you divide it by 4, you will get the remainder 0. That's why it is called 4n series. Okay. Let's suppose I am taking the second neptunium series, 237 initial and final 209. 237. If it is divided by 4, 237 divided by 4, you will get 59 plus 1 will be the remainder. That's why this is 4n plus 1 series. Okay. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose one more uranium series 238. 238 divided by 4. 238 divided by 4, you will get 59. And what will be the remainder? Will be the remainder 2. That's why this is 4n plus 2 series. Are you getting my point? Now the one more series we have, that is called actinium series, that will be 227. 227 divided by 4. 227 divided by 4, you will have 56, and the remainder will be the 3. That's why this is called 4n plus 3 series. Are you getting my point? Why the naming is given 4n, 4n plus 1, 4n plus 2, 4n plus 3. So that means if you divide the mass number by 4, if you get the remainder 0, that is 4n. If you get the remainder 1, 4n plus 1. If you get the remainder 2, 4n plus 2. If you get the remainder 3, you will get 4n plus 3 series. And you know how to calculate the number of alpha particles and beta particles? Yes. Okay. Now in this what happens, the 4n plus 1 series if you observe, 4n plus 1 series if you observe, Neptunium series. Okay. This is only series which containing the artificial radioactive elements, but whereas the rest of the remaining 3 series natural series. Are you getting my point? 4n1 series, that is the Neptunium series, is artificial radioactive element series, and the remaining 4n, 4n plus 2, 4n plus 3 natural. The end product of the 4n plus 1, if you see, bismuth. What is the end product of the 4n plus 1 series? Bismuth. But whereas in the remaining lead you have, this is also very important question, the end product. Okay. Now 4n plus 1 series actually starts from plutonium. It is started from what? Plutonium. But we are using the Neptunium because it has the longest lived species. Are you getting my point? That's why it is called Neptunium series. But the starting element will be plutonium, but we are taking the Neptunium because it is a long lived species. Okay. Now the next one, ISO series. Now what is the meaning of a ISO? ISO means same. Okay. Now we have some definitions. Isotopes. The definition of isotopes: elements, atoms having the same atomic number but different mass number are called isotopes. In isotopes, atomic number will be same, mass number will be different. So number of neutrons, that will be A minus Z, is also different. We have some example: H11, H12, H13, oxygen 16, 17, 18, carbon 12, 13, 14. Are you getting my point? Now there are some important points regarding the isotopes. Isotopes have similar chemical properties but different physical properties. Number 1. Number 2, the successive emission of a 1 alpha particle and 2 beta particle. That means the alpha particle to the beta particle ratio should be 1:2. When any radioactive substance emits 1 alpha particle successive 2 beta particle, then it will form isotope. This will be very important question. Let's suppose uranium 92 238, loss of 1 alpha, you will get thorium 90 234, 1 beta particle, protactinium 91 234, one more beta particle, again you will get the 92, that is the uranium. Okay. So final, if you see uranium, initially uranium, that means mass number different but atomic number same. Such relation is known as isotopes. Okay. Now the chemical reactivity of different isotopes of elements are different. This is called isotopic effect. Do you know hydrogen deuterium, the reactivity of hydrogen is more as compared to the deuterium, because of the deuterium has heavier isotope has high bond dissociation energy. That's why reactivity will decrease. Okay. Isobar having the same mass number but different atomic numbers. Mass number will be same, atomic number will be different. So here mass number here 3 3 but atomic number is 1 2. Similarly carbon 13, nitrogen 13, nitrogen 15, oxygen 15. Are you getting my point? Isobars have different chemical properties but similar physical properties. Different chemical properties, similar physical properties. Isobars are obtained due to the emission of which particle? Beta particle. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose uranium 92 235. Let's suppose. Are you getting my point? Now here if you see, otherwise you can take thorium. Otherwise uranium, whatever the element you can take. Okay. Thorium 90, let's suppose 234. By loss of 1 beta particle, you will get protactinium 91 234. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose if it loses one more beta particle, you will get atomic number 92 but the mass number still 234. That means having the same mass number, different atomic number are called what? Isobars. Okay. Now isotones. Isotones means atoms having the different atomic number, different mass number, but having the same number of neutrons. Same number of what? Neutrons. Z value different, A value different, but A minus Z value should be what? Same. That will be the number of neutrons. How to find the number of neutrons? A minus Z. Okay. Now here oxygen 18, 8, fluorine 9, 19. So 18 minus 8, 18 minus 8, that will be 10. 19 minus 9, that is also 10. Here carbon 613, nitrogen 714, silicon 14, 13, phosphorus 15, 31, sulfur 16, 32. 14 minus 30 minus 14, 16. 31 minus 15, 16. 32 minus 16, 16. Number of neutrons. Isodiaphers. The difference in the number of neutrons and protons. The number of neutrons minus protons is called isotopic number. Isotopic number. This isotopic number is also known as a minus 2Z. A minus 2Z. Because number of neutrons nothing but mass number minus atomic number. Minus of number of protons nothing but the atomic number. A minus Z, so A minus 2Z, which is nothing but number of neutrons minus protons. Those elements which have same isotopic number, are known as isodiaphers. Isodiaphers. Example, fluorine 919, potassium 1939. Okay. Now what is the isotopic number? A minus 2Z. Okay. What is the mass number? 19 minus 2 into atomic number will be what? 9. You will get what? 1. So potassium 1939 also 39 minus 2 times of the 19. So 39 minus 38 you will have 1. Similarly H13, lithium 37, uranium 92 235, thorium 90 231. These are the example for isodiapher. Okay. Isodiaphers are formed by the emission of what? Alpha particle. Best example here if you see. Uranium you have 92 235. Let's suppose uranium loses one alpha particle. Whenever alpha particle loses, atomic number decreases by 2 units, mass number decreases by 4 units. Okay, atomic number 90 will be thorium. Okay, if you calculate the A minus 2Z here, A minus 2Z here, you will get the same answer. Okay, isostars. Isostars means molecules or species having the same number of atoms as well as same number of electrons. If you see N2O and CO2, best example. Okay, here how many atoms are there here? 3 atoms, 2 nitrogen atom, 1 oxygen. Here 1 carbon atom, 2 oxygen atoms. If you see the number of electrons, then number of electrons also same in both the case. Okay, molecules having the same number of atoms as well as the same number of electrons. Are you getting my point? In case of electron, nitrogen atomic number will be 7, 7 plus 7, 14, 14 plus oxygen will be 8, that will be 32. In case of carbon dioxide, carbon will be 6, oxygen will be 8 plus 8, 16. 16 plus 6 will be 22. But that means in both the cases, that is nitrous oxide N2O, carbon dioxide CO2, number of electrons will be 22 same, and number of atoms will be same. That's why these two are called isostars. And one more example, N2 and CO. Okay. Now this is a very important key point here. When a parent element loses 1:2 ratio of alpha beta particle, that means loss of 1 alpha followed by 2 beta particles. Just now I told you isotope is formed. Loss of only beta particles, isobar. Loss of only alpha particle, isodiapher. Okay. Now the question number 4 here. Find the number of neutrons in X. To which series X belongs? What is the group number, block number, period of the X? What is the X here? Daughter element which is obtained from the radioactive disintegration of uranium 92 235 by loss of 5 alpha 4 beta. 5 alpha particles and 4 beta particles. Are you getting my point? Now here uranium 92 235. It will give, what is the parent element? uranium 90 to 235. What is the daughter element? X. Atomic number Z, mass number 4. How many alpha particles? 5. Alpha particle nothing but helium 24. How many beta particles? 4. Beta particle nothing but electron, E minus 1, 0. Are you getting my point? Now here, if you equate the atomic number and mass number, you will get the atomic number value as well as the mass number. Atomic number value you will get 86 and mass number you will get to 215. So the element 86, do you know element 86? Radon. Because we know noble gases. What are the noble gases? Helium. What are the noble gases here? Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. Atomic number of helium 2, neon 10, argon 18, krypton 36, xenon 54 and radon will be 86. Do you know all these are belonging to group number 18 and they are present in the P block and also 6th period. The radon will be present in the 6th period. Are you getting my pen? Now the question is, find the number of neutrons. First of all, number of neutrons. To find the number of neutrons, mass number minus atomic number, that will be 215 minus 86. 215 minus 86, that will be 129. Second question, to which series of element X belongs? To which series of, that means this will be belonging to 18th group, P block and 6th period. Which period? 6th period. Are you getting my point? Now, next kinetics of the radioactive disintegration. Now we know in chemical kinetics, all radioactive disintegration reactions follow first order kinetics. So here the rate of disintegration, that will be minus dN by dt, where N is called the amount of substance at a time interval t and N naught will be the amount of substance initially taken. Okay. Now same, A naught is A is equal to A naught into e to the power of minus kt. Here lambda. What is the lambda? Disintegration rate, disintegration constant or decay constant. And what is the first order rate constant expression? We know K is equal to what? 2.303 by T log of A naught by A naught minus X. Similar expression. Instead of K, I am taking the lambda and A naught here N naught. A naught minus X will be the N. And here AT is equal to what? A0 into e to the power minus KT. Okay. And half-life period we know. What is the half-life period expression? 0.693 by lambda. Here instead of K, I am using the lambda, that will be the decay constant. And average or mean half-life, it is called tau. Okay, which is nothing but the reciprocal of the decay constant. Reciprocal of the decay constant. What is the lambda here? 0.693 by T half. Okay, so I am writing 1.44 into T50. Okay, now the average life of radioactive element will be 1.44 times of 1.44 times of the half life. This will be the average lifetime, which is 1.44 times of the half life of the reaction. Are you getting my point? Now here, let's suppose if I am taking the time interval t, which is equal to 1 by lambda. So n is equal to n naught into e to the power minus lambda t. Instead of t, if I put the 1 by lambda, 1 by lambda gets cancelled. You will get the n is equal to n naught into e to the power of minus 1. Okay, so nothing but n is equal to n naught by e. What is the e value? 2.71. If you substitute the e value 2.71, you will get n is equal to n naught into 0.37. What will be the percentage of remaining amount? So initial amount denominator, left amount n numerator, so you will get 37%. That means the time taken for the concentration of a radioactive element to become 37%. Otherwise the time taken for the decomposition of 63% of a radioactive substance, is known as what? Average life period. Are you getting my point? Time during which 63% of radioactive substance undergoes decay. 63% undergoes decay, in the sense how much will be left? 100 minus 63, that will be the 37% left to 6. Now the units for the radioactive disintegration, that is the radioactivity. Number 1, Curie. 1 Curie will be equal to 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 dps. What is the meaning of a dps? Disintegration per second. 1 millicurie will be equal to 3.7 into 10 raised to 7 dps. 1 microcurie will be equal to 3.7 into 10 raised to 4 dps, and 1 Rutherford will be equal to 10 to the power 6 dps. 10 to the power 6 dps. And what is the SI unit for the radioactivity? Becquerel. Radioactivity is becquerel. 1 becquerel will be equal to 1 dps. Are you getting my point? From here, 1 Curie will be equal to 3.7 into 10 raised to 10 dps. Instead of dps, shall I write the becquerel? Okay, 1 Curie equal to 3.7 into 10 to the power 7, 10 to the power of 10 becquerels. Are you getting my point? So these are the units regarding the radio.